Yeah, I do. I mean, of course, like everyone wants their parents to be happy with who they end up with, but I feel like choice is up to me. Going back to that, being a woman, like an Arab and Muslim woman, like you love someone who is like, different race, different religion, but people aren't accepting of it. Like, why? Because of his religion? Like, we believe in the same God. Like, why can't we? If he's like Catholic, I'm Muslim, we believe in the same God. Why is that not okay? My cousin, he married a girl who wasn't Muslim, a French girl who wasn't Muslim. She was Catholic. And, he was a little bit more accepted. And when another one of my cousins married a guy who wasn't Muslim, that guy had to convert, and it was kind of like a longer process to accept.
So my parents kind of said obviously they say I can marry whoever I want, but they're like, but it can't be blah blah blah. They're we prefer him to be Muslim, and Arab, but then my mom, or if they're not, to convert, and of course convert in their own sense, not because they have to. So they say I'm free to make my own decision, but it's if I don't, I feel like it'd be taboo.
No. My parents have made it very, very clear that I must marry a Muslim, and my father has gone farther enough to say that I must marry a Muslim Arab. My mom's like, just a Muslim, that's all I care about. And I'm like, okay. And then my dad's like, no, he must be Arab too. Although, I think he's more lenient now, because when I was a kid he used to say that, but now I feel like it's more just Muslims are Muslims. So I don't think I could never bring home anybody who wasn't Muslim. Even I think a convert would probably set them off a bit. I think they might be able to get on board with it, but it would take them a minute.
Luckily, my parents aren't very traditional. My dad grew up here, so he has a very Americanized way of thinking. So yes, in a way, I can marry whoever I want, because I know at the end of the day my parents will support it. I'm gonna try and make them happy and marry an Arab guy. It doesn't matter what country they're from, but as long as they're Arab and they're Muslim, that's what I want to end up with.
I mean, I feel like everyone, has the choice to do what they want, but when we're talking about culture, I feel like my parents will be very disappointed if I don't marry a Muslim. They expect me, I have to marry a Muslim man, and my mom doesn't care what race or where he's from, even if he converted and if he's American. She just wants him to be Muslim. And of course my dad would prefer I married a Muslim man that's Arab, but yeah, definitely they just want me to marry a Muslim man. And I could do, whatever I want, but they would be very, very unhappy.
Yes, I do feel pressure from my mom's sisters, my aunts, and all that, but my parents would much rather me continue my schooling, and I want to go to medical school, I want to become a doctor. They want me to do that first, but my aunts kind of they give me that talk, and they're like, have you thought about anyone you're interested in, have you set up a timeline for yourself about when you want to get married, when you want to have kids? So yeah, I feel the pressure from my extended family, but again, from my parents, they'd much rather me better myself before taking that step.
No. I kind of am going off of my timeline for school, and for me it's just kind of my parents have never been you need to get married by a certain time, whatever, so I've never really thought about it. I just thought of it'll happen when it happens, preferably later.
Yes and no. I used to. Like I said, my dad was sort of they're going to get married. And occasionally he'll still drop the joke, so when are you guys going to give me grandchildren? And I'll just be no time soon. And I guess I could say I feel pressured only because a lot of my cousins are already getting married, and some of them have children, and I feel that's a weird thing, because it's I grew up with you. I'm supposed to be at the same level as you, and yet here you are with child, and I am here not with child. So it's not necessarily pressure, but it's sort of just confliction. I constantly feel there are two sides to my culture, one in which the women are expected to just get married and have children, and the other side in which she should be educated so that she can be better for her husband. And I'm just like, well, what if I don't really want to fit either?
Well, yeah, you know, my parents aren't like, oh, you gotta get married right after college or anything like that, but they do hint at it, like, under 30, like, please be married, because it is shameful to even be like 26 and up to not be married. It's like, what is wrong with her, you know?
Yeah, definitely. My sister is 35 and she's still not married, and my mom all the time is like bothering her about marrying someone. And at this point, she doesn't even care if he's Muslim. She's like, anybody, like, just marry somebody. Because yeah, definitely, it's like, it's like by the time you're like 25, 26, like you need to have a husband. You know, like you graduate high school, college, sorry. You need to get married, you know, because that's just like the way it is. So definitely by then I will be expected to like have a husband.